What's up, everybody? It's Matt Johnson. We are back with another episode of Real Estate Uncensored. This is the place where you get actionable ideas, insight, and inspiration to turn your real estate career into a life of freedom. And we have no guests today, so we are taking your questions, both live and from the Facebook group, lead gen, scripts, and objections. So, guys, if you're watching with us live here right now, make sure to pop your questions in as a comment under the feed here on Facebook, and we will keep an eye out for you. Also, let us know where you are at. So that other people who are watching can keep you in mind for referrals. So we're going to have some fun today and talk about sales and marketing. We're going to talk about your questions and hopefully help some people out today. So first of all, the junior grandmaster himself in the co-pilot seat, where you so belong, Greg McDaniel. What's up today?
What up, homie? Had a really sad news this morning. I found out that an agent that I've worked with my entire career, unfortunately, she passed away on Sunday in an airplane crash. I was just reading about it on Inman News. Her name is Floria Hakimi. She and her husband and a couple of her friends died in a small plane crash. So kind of like totally I didn't see that one coming. Oh my God, dude.
No. And this is someone that that was on the other end of a lot of deals over the years?
She's just a good agent.
Industry?
Yeah, just a good gal. She was a founding member of a company up here called Expire, brokerage. And I just love saying her name, Floria Hakimi. And she was always cool, to work with. So don't take life for granted, guys, because they went for an airplane ride. They didn't think they were going to go into the ground, literally.
Wow. Goodness.
So, but on another note, Miss Amy B, she sent me this really cool package on Friday during our show. My doorbell rang, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. I walked outside, and there's this package sitting there, right? And it says it's from Cocktail Courier. And she sent me, B sent me the little box, a little thing of bullet bourbon, black lemon bitters, some other assortments, and it's for a barbecue old fashioned, something you would like a lot more. Yeah, this shows up, and you can make your own cocktails. It's really cool. So
that's right.
Thank you, Amy. I was very thoughtful of you. I really appreciate it, and I will definitely think of you when I have my first drink.
That's right.
Because I've never had.
Now, if only you'd, I was going to say, if only you'd do what you should do, which is bring all those ingredients down to my place and make them all be great. It's only a short 6-hour car ride. I don't understand. Right.
So easy.
We got some folks watching with us. Mike, Veronica, Paul Franklin, what's going on? Susan, Kathy, Paul Franklin's already commenting. Mike's got a question for you, Greg, which is how much kale can you eat in one sitting? I don't want to know the answer to that question.
Lots.
And Susan says, hello, boys, walking, talking, and turning properties here in beautiful Canyon Lake, California. We've got Paul out of Boston. We've got Veronica out of East Texas. And Johnny's watching with us, guys, so we appreciate everyone that watches and participates in the show live. So let's grab our first question.
Okay.
This is the one that caught my eye from Jorge and says the objection. This is the objection that he's getting. I keep hearing prices are going to go down in the next year or two. I think I'll just wait to buy. So this is I don't know if the scenario is they have a listing or not. So let's take that out of the equation for now. But this is a potential buyer lead. And you are assuming that they want to get out there and buy now, but now they're having some second thoughts because they hear that prices are going to go down. So what's the benefit to them, if any, of getting out and getting into the market now versus waiting until next year?
Well, first you have to establish what their motivation is, and that's the thing I get right off the bat. It's like there was a young couple that came through my open house on Sunday, and I was talking with them and identified with them because they're asking me the same kind of question, like what are the prices going to do? Where do you see the market going? And my response to them is, if I had the ability to predict where the market would be going, we would both be on a plane to Vegas, putting everything on black. But I can't see the future. I don't have a crystal ball, so I need to understand what your motivation is for making the move now. Is it a want or a need? And then I let them clarify to me, is it a want or a need for them to be buying or selling? And then we go from that move. And, with the prices, maybe coming down, that means rates are probably going to come up. So I always say to them this. I said, well, you have two choices. Either you can buy now or you can buy later. But I'll tell you this, you can always refi out of a higher interest rate. You can't refi out of a higher price. So would you like a lower price and higher interest rate, or lower interest rate and higher price? Because it's all going to kind of even out. So where would you like to land? What's more important to you? As soon as I identify what they want to do, and then we make a move forward. The young couple, they want to buy because the gal is moving from the East Coast to the West Coast, finishing up graduate school, and the reason why they want to buy is because they have a dog and she wants a yard for the dog. So the hound is going to cost them several $100,000.
Okay.
It's expensive,
Hound.
expensive hooch.
Dog. Okay.
But yeah, that's what I would identify. Like, hey, look, if you guys, if the higher prices, is that something that bothers you, or would you just rather get a lower interest rate? So that's how I do it. And I just
yeah, I was going to say, like, it's interesting because there's a lot of people that would come back and say, well, no, you just, show them the stats, the prices are going to keep going up. The problem is that everybody says that right up until that doesn't happen and prices crash or they come down or they soften or whatever. I mean, we saw this happen 10 years ago. All the experts, all the economic modelers and economic forecasters and everybody that had a vested interest in real estate going up just kept telling everybody real estate's going to keep going up. Because all the behind the scenes discussions that we're not privy to go either they're genuinely dumb enough to think that real estate always goes up, or two, they recognize that something's coming, but they believe that confidence in the market will fix it. And so they tell everybody, no, the market's going to keep going up, because they believe as long as they keep telling people that everybody will stay confident and keep pouring money in, and it will keep the market up. And so those are two very bad things. You have to remember that a lot of the there may be very, very smart people that work for mortgage associations, National Association of Realtors, and all these people that have a vested interest in real estate going up. That creates a bias. And so you can always find a stat that's going to predict that real estate's going to go up. That doesn't mean it always is. And if you base your advice to your clients on that idea that real estate's always going up, we're doing a disservice to our clients.
Yeah, but I mean, 72.3% of the time, stats are correct, and I made that stat 100% up. So, I mean, if you really want to look at stats,
83% of the time, I am right 100% of the time, Greg. So,
exactly.
I mean, you got to understand. Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, I made that mistake. Actually, I remember back in like 05, 06, somewhere in there, right near the peak. We were talking to a client. I'll never forget this. It was a $1.8 million home, and my clients looked at me like, "Well, do you think the market's just going to keep going up?" And me, I'm like, "Oh yeah, I totally think it will keep going up." Dumbass. I mean, but I mean, I was young, I was impressionable. Everyone around me kept saying nothing was going to come down, and then we didn't just come down, we crashed down. And so, always be cognitive of what the past has done. Go look at the history. That'll tell you something about the future. In regards to which way the markets are going to be going, and don't advise a client on something based off of your wants and needs. Make sure that you advise them off of what's best for them, and be willing to walk away from a deal, either buying or selling side, if it's not 100% in their best interest. Yeah. And then a lot of us do very self-serving behaviors about recommending, well, is it a good time to buy or sell? Absolutely. I got a huge credit card bill I got to pay off. I mean, you better buy something quick, because my Amex is about maxed. That's the wrong attitude.
Yeah, exactly.
Bad.
Yeah, I was talking to a friend of mine who's an agent and runs a successful team in LA, and they work some of the higher, like over $800,000, over $1 million price point in their part of LA, and they're talking to and experiencing it firsthand, which is a major kind of, I guess, a softening of the over $1 million, definitely over the $700K kind of limit. And, we're recording this in August of 2018. So they're seeing a softening, which may turn into more. It may not. It may just be temporary. Who knows? But they're definitely seeing some what could be early signs of something bigger. And both he and I had the initial opinion when Trump passed some of the tax reforms that brought the corporate tax down. Our immediate interpretation of that was, wow, we may have just successfully kicked the can down the road and given us some more life in the economy before something major happened. He's telling me that when you actually dig into it, and entrepreneurs and business owners are now finding out more about this tax reform that passed, that there's so many things in that bill that offset the drop in corporate tax, that he said it actually is a net negative for people who are looking to either buy new property, buy investment property, sell their property, whatever the case is. It ends up not being good for the real estate market. So whereas I thought we might have, given ourselves another 6, 12, 18 months of really good economics on the real estate side, it may not be that way. So just a quick aside on that. I don't know if anybody else is working that over kind of 800K market. I would love to see, like, in your, throw it in the Facebook comments here, let us know kind of what you're seeing on the ground, because Greg, you're definitely seeing that same thing. People are hunkering down a little bit.
Yeah, they're definitely hunkering down. There's gonna be a lot of turmoil that's gonna be changing in the real estate market. One of which, and I'm interested to kind of get your opinion on this, Matt, is the article that came out on Inman on Friday talking about the fact that, where is it? Actually, our good personal friend Alex Lang, who's the head of Upstream, which is what Upstream is doing. They're consolidating the MLSs into more of a compact, kind of much tighter group instead of just all willy-nilly all over the country. And Zillow is having a major issue with this because Alex, with Upstream, if he can control the flow of the MLS streams, he can limit the access to third-party sites like Zillow, Trulia, Redfin, all these other things, because they can cut off the information, because it is actually the real estate agents, proprietary data. We're the ones that listed them. There are listings, and then he sell them back to us, which is asinine. But it's the way that the business works. And it's interesting to see how Zillow is attacking the National Association, the California Association, and basically just like stomping their feet like little kids and just kind of throwing up a temper tantrum. Because imagine the control.
Their data. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I mean, that would radically transform their business model, like eliminate it or make it much more affordable for us to buy our own leads back. But I mean, it's where the market's going to be going. The access to data. Is Amazon going to get into the big picture? Is who's going to get in and start selling real estate? It's really interesting to see what's going to happen and where it's going to go. And you better button down the hatches, guys. You better start hustling and grinding, because there is a what heading your direction, and that would be a shitstorm. Because if that data gets stopped, I mean, you could control your own destiny again. How cool would that be?
Yeah. Well. For those that are good at it, good.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about the delay again, because this is we've got I believe it's Baman, and I'm sure I'm butchering that, so I apologize. But he's watching live with us. Says cold calling, you get an interested seller and the response is maybe in 6 months or a year. We don't know yet. So what methods do you use to keep yourself in front of them? You can't just keep calling, going ready to sell. So how do you stay in front of someone who you think is interested in selling, and they flat out said they're interested, but just not right this second?
Send out cards. That's what I would do. Now, you guys go to freecardbygreg.com. And that's freecardbygreg.com. You can go send out cards yourself, your mom, your whoever you want to send a card to, see what it's like. And every time that any of you guys that watch me do my calls, and whenever I get someone on the line and they've received one of my cards, they always are very open to talking, very appreciative of it. Like I spoke with a lady by the name of Gloria. Very sweet woman. This month on the 20th is going to be the 1-year anniversary of her husband passing away. They were married for 65 years. And dude, I've called her and stayed up with her to the point where she just picks up the phone and goes, "Hi, Greg." Hi, Gloria. How are you?
Okay.
And I sent her a send-out card and these little brownies. I don't know if you guys have never had the send-out card brownies. Oh, my gosh, they're so freaking good, and I hate sweets. I sat down and just chowed those things down. But that's how I stay in touch with them. I go and I get a screenshot of the front of the house, put that on the front of the card. On the upper flap of that card, I put some sort of scene or major landmark in the city that they're in, and then I write a note, nice little note on where you'd write a note, because that will stand out significantly versus anybody else, because no one else is sending them brownies, no one else is writing a personalized card that's going to be easily recognizable, and then putting them on a call follow-up system just to touch base, how's life, what's new, and then go out there and maybe do a pop-by again in like 3 weeks, 4 weeks, maybe even 3 months, kind of just saying, how are you doing? You just have to do what everyone else is not doing. In that you and I are very aware of the red water hunting and the blue water hunting.
Yep.
Red water, guys, is doing exactly what everybody else has done and doing now. It's very incestuous. We all look the same. We're all doing the same thing. Nothing makes you stand out. With blue water hunting, it's when you step out of that craziness and you do something completely unique that other people are not doing on a major basis, which makes you recognizable.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
it's funny. I was just reading something. No, I was watching a YouTube video over the weekend by the guy who wrote The Immutable Laws of Marketing, which I've talked about a lot on the show over the last couple of months, because it's just an amazing, very short, easy read, very, very powerful book. But he's also got some videos on YouTube from, I don't know, about 10 years ago. It's called The Reese Report. And he just goes through and kind of talks through marketing, some of the concepts of the book, but, tying it into what was going on at that time and what brands were big and stuff like that. And he made reference to the fact that like every car commercial looks the same, right? The car driving down the winding road through the mountains and over the valleys and all this stuff. And he's like, find me anyone who can tie one of those commercials back to the actual brand that ran it. It cannot be done. Like, they all look the same. They all run the same commercials. They all have the same feel. They all have the same rolling hills. It's just swap out the car and you can't tell. And so the point of that is that, like, agents come into the business and we look at what other agents are doing. And just like and car companies do the same thing, right? It's safer to do what everyone else is doing, but you're exactly right. That's red water hunting. You're fishing where everyone else is already fishing. And the only way to stand out is to go into the blue water where nobody else is and do something completely different. And I think agents, and agents aren't the only one who have a problem with this, but the people who are successful are the ones that break out of that mentality and find a way to do something different. Sometimes it's ugly, like Steve Sims. Sometimes it's going super ultra high end. Sometimes it's going the opposite direction, being classy. Right? BMW and Mercedes outclassed Cadillac. That's how they got big. They were $10,000 more expensive. They were nicer than Cadillacs. And so guess what? All the Cadillac drivers flocked over to BMW and Mercedes. So you could go either way, but either way, we have to do something different.
Yeah, you really do have to stand out. And you know what? I really like that idea. And that's what really spawned the whole idea of me doing the radio show, which as of this recording, it's in 6 days on August 12th at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I go live on KGO radio. And what I kept thinking about is I need to find the biggest possible platform I can get my fingers on so that I can, get out of the yelling match down here and ascend way up here with a much bigger platform, much more visibility up here. That way people will say, oh my gosh, look at this person. We recognize him because he's the only one up there, instead of just fighting down here and taking the scraps. So, Matt, you and I talk about this a lot, and it's talking about what's bigger than big.
Right.
What's bigger than big?
Yep.
And you and I have had brainstorming sessions on this, and we have gone over and over and over and over again. So I challenge you guys to do the exact same thing. It's scary. It's incredibly scary. But you know what? The cool thing is that once you take that leap and you do something different, I bet you guys anything that other people will follow you. And that's cool. Now you're a leader in your business, in your industry, in your area, and people are going to recognize you, not just your fellow real estate agents, but also the homeowners. They're going to be like, wow, I want to work with that guy or that gal who's really making something interesting over here. And people always want the celebrity aspect of it. Glenn talks a lot about that in a lot of the marketing that he works off of. It's just rubbing shoulders, being seen around other people that will give you that little boop, that little push that will beat out your competitor. So think about it, guys. Take your pen right now. Write something down. I don't care what it is. Write something down. What's bigger than big? How can you stand out? What's different about you? Really go for this thing. And that's going to propel you into the blue water, and then always keep thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking until it pops. It might be in the shower. You're sitting there just running through your brain going, Eureka! You stumble out of the shower, dripping wet, running across your house, scaring your poor small children. But you have the idea. Put it on paper. Every parent's like, ew, I don't want to see naked.
Shake it off after you write it down. Okay. So
Taylor Swift. What?
And I'm gonna butcher his name again, but Baman here commented back again because he said, "My God, Greg is so smart. I have send out cards. I'm actually under him, but never thought of sending a card without having one's pictures off of Facebook." And send out cards has obviously been around since before Facebook was invented. So send out cards works. Whether or not you have pictures that you can download and throw onto the card or not. I mean, that's very powerful, but you certainly don't have to wait or not send out a card just because you don't have that, because they have a ton of templated designs, and there's all kinds of fun stuff and items that you can send besides just a card and besides just doing it where you go onto their Facebook page and download some pictures and stuff like that, the way that Gail showed us how to do it. So I'll give a quick example here because it's just timely. I literally got a message
in a bottle
yesterday morning, 9 o'clock. This is from somebody I had a quick connect call with the previous week, and what I did is I had my assistant who has direct access to my send out cards account. So she checks in with me every day. She says, "Hey Matt, I see that you had calls yesterday with John and Sarah. What cards would you like to send and what do you want to say?" And I'll go, okay, tell John thanks for the call. Had a really great time. Looking forward to seeing what we can do together, Matt. Right. So then she goes into my send out cards and sends out that message, and it's just on like a template, pursuing results, like thanks, from the team here at Pursuing Results, with our little graphic on the front, like super simple, nothing fancy. Inside is kind of that handwritten-y kind of font. But the message that I got yesterday, hey, Matt, I just wanted to thank you for the follow-up card. That's about the nicest thing I've ever received based on a phone call, 3 exclamation points. And yeah, it makes such a huge difference. And then I said, awesome, so glad I got there so fast. She said, yes, and you have amazing handwriting, which I get a huge kick out of. So it doesn't have to be anything fancy. It definitely doesn't have to be anything. Like, I didn't go on Facebook. I didn't download pictures. It's literally on a stock picture that has to do with our podcasting service, and it just basically so that they know it came from me. That's it. Super, super simple. So guys, don't underestimate just how powerful it is just to get a card in the mail to them, regardless of how awesome or how fancy or how customized it is to them. You can literally just put a nice message that mentions their name, and that's such a gesture that stands out because nobody does it.
Nobody does it. I mean, go get really ugly about it too. If you can't afford send out cards right now, you can afford a piece of paper, you can afford a black marker, and you can afford a stamp, right? Hopefully, if not, please go work at Walmart. You will have a miserable time.
Part-time. Yeah,
exactly.
Part-time.
Only Monday through Friday.
Exactly.
But you go there and you write on the front of the thing in a big old marker, Matt Johnson at blah 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 address at blah 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 city and state, and right inside, hey man, thinking about you. When you get a call, give me a ring, Greg. Put it in the mail. Off you go. I mean, It could be as blunt as that. Just get out of what's normal. Everyone's like, well, I'm going to throw myself under the bus here, but I mean, we all want the double-sided 4-color high gloss, HD photos and the nice write-up. The sellers all want that, right?
Right.
But everybody has them. I mean, yes, for sellers have that, but then make it a little bit notable and maybe do a collage of photos on the backside of something. Maybe attached to that is a discount from a local restaurant that you can offer out to people as a thank you for coming through the open house or out door knocking. I mean, just make yourself stand out so that when they think about real estate, they think of you. And Matt, have I ever told you? I think I've told you this. The one thing that I'm pushing for is that I want to be the Coca-Cola of real estate here in the Bay Area. Right. I mean, and that's one of the reasons for the radio show is because I just want when people think of real estate, I just want them to think of my name and their story, nothing else. You don't really walk into anywhere and go, can I get a Pepsi? No. Can I get a Coke? Oh, we don't have Coke? Yeah, I'll take Pepsi. I just want to be that brand. That's the blue water hunting that I'm going for, or work to the point where you don't have to introduce yourself.
Right.
That's the other part that I want to go to is work so hard you don't have to introduce yourself when you walk into a room.
Yeah, I love it. All right. So there's a really good question from Veronica that I want to make sure that we cover. Veronica, what's up? It says, I'm running into FSBOs from, quote, brilliant entrepreneurs who went to one seminar and learned how to flip a house, and now they're overpricing. So is there a technique we can use to get them to understand that it's actually hurting them to stay on Zillow for 120 plus days? So what would you say to that in that situation?
So we have an entrepreneur who thinks that they're all that and a bag of chocolate chips. And they're keeping it 120 days. Well, it would be good to show them maybe stats for all these FSBOs. Go, hey, look, this is what people are doing when they price the home right. This is the percentage of the list price that they're getting, and then show them a sliding scale downwards on how much money they're losing on a consistent basis on holding costs, remodeling costs, all of these other things. If you were just to take a price cut, opportunity cost for other deals and flips and stuff like that. Look, they're probably told you need to make X, Y, and Z spread, right? Either a percentage or amount of money. Well, dude, sometimes it's better just to cut bait, take your profits, or just lick your wounds and go hide out for a little bit. Because if you're going to screw up the entire averages for the rest of the market, guess what, genius? Next time you flip a home, you're going to be subject to your own comp. Mm-hmm. Just get the thing sold.
Yeah.
But the ego comes into play, and that's where we run into a big problem. Is people
and worse is sometimes it's not even sometimes it's a flat out condition. Like, look, I can't lose money on this or something like that.
Right.
Yeah. Like if I don't get this, then the whole deal was a waste of my time, and I can't come to terms with that. Therefore, it has to sell for this amount I have it listed for. And that's a tough one, but. Yeah, I mean, it's like you said, you really have to go into it, and you have to build up enough trust And for Veronica's case specifically, if you're an ISA, this is a little bit different if you're trying to set an appointment for somebody else. If you were, Greg, if this was you on the phone with them, your goal would be to build up enough trust and give them enough options and things to think about to where they go, okay, I get your point. Like maybe we can see if the numbers work. Just come over, check out the house, see what you think you can sell for right now. And, we'll talk about the holding costs and stuff like that. And then you would go in there and you would have a conversation, one business owner to another, saying, look, like, here's the deal. Like, you're on the clock.
You got to get this thing
Holding
sold.
costs are going up. You've got to get out from under this. Like, you're losing opportunities to go do other things. This is stressing you out. Like, how much is the stress worth? How much is the opportunity worth to go put your money into something else, even if it's not as much as you'd like to make? Like, that's a very kind of, if it's an experienced investor, that's a very high level business conversation. If they're new, then it's kind of a, like it's not rough. As high level, but it can be rough because they're emotional about it. An experienced investor isn't emotional about it. Someone that got into flipping houses because they like HGTV and they like to pick out subway tile. Oh God.
Oh, please shoot
That
me.
does not sound like a fun conversation.
No, it does not, because they're not rational about it. You know what? They also have the ego kicked in, like we talked about. Is that like, well, if Bob sold his house for X, Y, and Z, then my home is way prettier and better in a better location with better upgrades. Naturally, no one's ever said to me, my house is really pretty crummy compared to all the rest ones, but I think I can get more money. No. Yeah. That's not how these conversations go. It's always mine's prettier in a better location and a better amenities, blah blah blah. When in reality, you're like, dude, you still have an ugly kid, homie. Like, that's why it's not selling. The pretty kids get sold. The ugly kids, the Johnsons, those are the ones that stick around.
Yeah, exactly. The Johnsons, exactly. I saw how you slipped that in there. I got it.
You're on to me, I see. You're on to me.
Exactly.
Oh, my God.
Okay. So, and that actually partially answers another question that I spotted here. It says, why does a house typically expire? And it's a lot of the same reasons why, like a flipped house won't sell. It's a lot of the same reason why your FSBOs won't sell.
Price.
Which is usually it's overpriced, but it's usually overpriced because it's their agent's fault, because the agent essentially bought the listing a lot of times, in the sense that they went in there and told them what they want to hear, and that's why the house was listed for what it's listed at. So there's that. So so at some point. And then the other was the condition of the property, the way it was marketed. You can go down the line. There's a couple of other ones, but mostly it comes back to the agent giving them bad advice essentially, and them taking that bad advice. Let's put it that way. And in some cases that maybe the market has shifted underneath them. Like that might be a legit thing. I remember back in 2006 that was totally a thing. Like the market really did shift.
It actually shifted on us this year, Matt. We took a property, and based on the comps, it should have sold for a certain price. The market shifted on us extremely quickly, and then we were overpriced. And so we've had to do some backpedaling, some reworking and retooling our market and everything else. And it drove not only us to rethink what we were doing, it drove like this whole little neighborhood to all pop up on the market. Like there's like 8 homes in this little itty bitty like 300 home, or like 100, it's 100 and there were like 41 homes in this entire little enclave of properties. All of a sudden, all popped up because they saw the pricing. But they're all like, oh, my God, I can sell for almost $700,000. And then when the prices didn't take to that, they're selling for under $650. But people are so excited about it, they decided to jump on it anyway. So we had to reevaluate and do a price correction and everything else. But it can happen to anyone at any time because this market can shift like that.
Yeah.
And we're just sitting. You have to be able to be agile and be able to adjust to the marketplace instantaneously. And always be in front of the market, guys. Be proactive on your market. See where, kind of see where it's going. Like Wayne Gretzky, why was he the best, hockey player of all times? Because he didn't skate where the puck was. He skated to where the puck's going to be. Yeah. So be Wayne Gretzky of your marketplace and actually skate to where you see the market going to be. Are you going to be right 100% of the time? No. But you'll be right more often than probably competitors if you're willing to take the risk. And again, that's blue water. You're doing something different.
Yeah. Which
I'm a huge fan of, as you guys know. I'm always trying to do something weird and different. Like the thing that Nick Sakis and I are doing, dude. We're like running all these different ads for these local businesses and getting notoriety. Funny, dude, I was talking to Eileen. I was previewing a property this morning. And we were talking through some other stuff. And all of a sudden, she's like, oh, dude, I saw one of your ads. I'm like, oh, you did? What? Did you like it? I was like a little kid. I don't know why I got so excited. But she's like, yeah, it was great. I'm like, oh, cool. I mean, if she's seeing them, then that means other people are going to be starting to see them. And this is blue water. This is where this is the cool thing about what Nick and I are building, is the fact that the Pareto rule, or the 80-20, everyone tries to go for that 20%, right? Well, Nick is flipping it on its head and going after the 80% of the people that will be able to, view what you're putting out there. And then through his systems and processes and the apps, everything he's building and making and everything else, it's a huge viewership pool. I mean, here's another thing, guys. Go to director.youtube.com. You guys saw me, I can't talk anymore apparently. You saw me 2 Fridays or 3 Fridays ago record the video for the YouTube ad. My YouTube ad is up and running. I've spent like $67, dude, or something like that. There's like 3,000 impressions already. I'm like, huh, and I don't have to pay for the impressions. That's the coolest thing about it. Only if they watch it and take action on it do I have to pay. But that's where you can stand out. You can do something uniquely different, with that, set a budget to it and see where they're coming in. It's really cool. And I have not seen any other real estate agent. Matt, do you see any real estate agents? You watch a lot of YouTube videos.
You completely cut out there for a second. Have I seen any what? Yeah, you're coming back. Okay.
I don't know what happened. I think my mic might be going, dude.
Yeah.
But are you seeing any real estate agents do YouTube ads yet?
Well, the real estate coaches, yeah. You got to understand, like when I'm on YouTube, yes, because I see all the real estate coaching stuff and all the online marketing stuff. I don't see real estate agents marketing, for the most part, outside of like Ben Bacall, who's based in LA. There was a period there where he showed up in my YouTube feed constantly because he was marketing a specific $30 million property in Beverly Hills, and he was running ads essentially both to anyone like in SoCal, but also I think he was probably running them against people who are looking at real estate related educational videos, because he wanted to put the property in front of other agents, which is very smart, by the way. So that's really the only one I've seen doing that. I know, Glenn's folks down in Australia take a little bit of an advantage of that on YouTube ads, but no, I haven't seen people like in San Diego, like the big agents in San Diego. Nobody's running YouTube ads to the general public. Everyone is running them to realtors to sell coaching.
Right. And I think you guys can take a real big advantage of this because, this is blue water, guys. No one else is doing it. And you can pick your demographics, geographics, the whole thing. So you can pick exactly who you want to. And it was a step-by-step process. It was super easy. Very, I'm spending like $20 a day, $17 a day, which gets hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of views. Not to mention the thousands of impressions. Because it's a branding play. Brand. Coca-Cola.
Which doesn't work if you aren't doing other things, but you're actually making the calls. You're actually sending postcards. Like there's other stuff going on that gives them a direct avenue. Yeah, the radio show. Yeah, so a branding play can work when it is the air. It's the Air Force, but there's still ground. There's boots on the ground in other ways.
Oh gosh, yeah. Oh yeah, no, you can't do one without the other. You have to have both of them out there. And one of the things that is when you say boots on ground is something that Eileen and I are working on, is getting I think you get like 5,000 flyers or door hangers, just general stuff printed up. And I want to hit the doors 3 days a week. Really either knock or drop at least 50 to 100 flyers those 3 days, and really get back to some of the just basics of getting out there, because there's millions to be made in these small niches. And when you talk to other people and they say, well, that door knocking thing doesn't work, well, okay, that means you're not working. Let's be really clear on that, Bob from Remax, you dingleberry. What I would say is, look, go out there, door knock. Go live on social media so people can see what you're doing and that you're a hustler, and then introduce the marketplace that you're in so that people can see the actual area that you're working in. Like, what do the homes look like? What do the neighborhoods look like? What are the prices doing? You can strike twice on this type of an idea and be seen constantly out hustling, because I don't know anybody who doesn't like a hard worker. I mean, who doesn't like a hard worker?
Yeah.
I mean,
love it.
I have so many jokes. I'm going to keep my mouth shut.
Okay. Well, I've got one more question that we can cover, but before that, how do people reach out and connect with you?
Guys, go to bookmcdaniel.com. I talk about it all the time, but at bookmcdaniel.com, come learn about EXP and what Matt and I are putting together here, how you guys can not just survive but thrive with the rock stars that we're bringing into our organization and all the value add benefits that we offer to our folks. I mean, you guys can get one-on-one coaching. There's masterminds you can click into. There's all of our products that you guys can go watch and become smarter with the knowledge of some of this stuff out there, or just take one idea from all this stuff and make yourself a couple hundred more $1,000 a year. I mean, EXP, you can either cap at 8,000 or 16,000. I mean, you guys can literally be a half capper and pay $8,000, and then you're done, and you pay 100% to your bottom line for the rest of the year. How cool is that? Anyways, go to Book McDaniel, figure it out, guys.
That's right. All right. So the last question here, this is from Candace, said, I've been reading several articles about how Zillow is dominating our market. And now I'm wondering what would happen if we all just stopped paying for advertising on their website, given that paid ads account for about 70% of their $1 billion in annual revenue.
Wow.
Like you said earlier, Greg, she says agents are basically paying them to develop tools to push us out of the business. Just my thoughts. And it's funny. So we had a conversation with James Rembert, the Zillow killer, on Friday, and we're going to be doing some cool stuff with him. And so he's been on the show twice, guys. So check out his previous episodes of the show. But we're going to do something really, really cool with him coming up that we'll have more to say. But I could not agree more. Like, Zillow has essentially taken advantage of the fact that we don't know how to market our own listings, done it better than we do it, and then sold us back the leads because we were dropping the ball. Right. Yep. As an industry, maybe not individually you or me or whatever, but as an industry, we dropped the ball. And so Zillow stepped in and figured out how to do it better than we were doing it. And then now is selling it back to us. So yeah, I 100% agree that, we could cripple Zillow just by not paying them anymore. But in order to do that, we have to do some of the things that James Rembert is teaching and figure out how to go get our own leads and promote our own listings online.
So the funny thing is, Matt? I've told this story before, but I'm going to reiterate it again here, is the fact that one of the guys who actually just took James's advice, just literally just followed James's, step-by-step plan, which is all free, by the way, guys. There's no cost involved with this, okay? To the point where this guy is actually being asked around town, like, hey, Matt, I saw your video on this. Hey, great video over there. Hey, that's awesome over here. People stop him on the street all the time, and it's getting to the funny part where people are actually coming up to him going, hey, so when are you going to interview me for your interviews? All free. Free. Awesome. And this, you don't need to pay for these leads. And I'm subscribing potentially to another service, and I'm vetting them out hard because they want me to pay a certain amount of money to get these opportunities. And I'm like, do I want to pay this amount of money, or do I want to just go do it myself? With what Nick and I are building, with what James and I and Matt are putting together, with the radio show, with the Facebook Lives. There's so many opportunities out there where you can take advantage of these free resources, which what was that, 2 years ago? How long has Facebook Live been around? Like 1 or 2 years maybe, give or take? But I mean, in 2 years ago, let's just give it 2 years. This wasn't an opportunity, and it's getting more and more. It's getting bigger and bigger. Guys, you can make your own news station. That's what this is. You can create your own stuff, you should go make your own group, right? And then that's going to be like your city, and you can be the mayor of that city, and you can feed it whatever you want and call it whatever you want and bring whatever value you want to it, and then you can share information freely through it. And that was another free thing to do. I mean, there's so much stuff, guys. So much stuff.
Yep. Cool. Yeah. All right. Well, let's wrap this one up because that was the last question that I wanted to get to. So yeah, guys, go grab a call on Greg's calendar, learn more about EXP, learn more about the opportunity, how you can get ownership, stock with deals that you bring in, with joining, and as well as the opportunity to max out at a much lower rate and make more money off the deals that you're already doing. And you get all of our training and support. And to an extent that we can, as long as Greg's schedule allows, you get, free coaching and support and training and all that good stuff. You also get to plug into the amazing training program by Coach Hank and called 36 to Life. In other words, how to do 36 deals a year, cap out at that, and then just keep raising your average sale price and raising the quality of the clients that you work with. So you have this amazing business that fuels this incredible lifestyle. So you have all the money that you want, the time and financial freedom that you want without sacrificing your family, without sacrificing travel, without sacrificing your sanity. It is the amazing training program, guys, that anyone that kind of comes into EXP and joins arms with us You get that for an admin fee of $36. 36 smackers. It's ridiculous. So essentially, yeah, when you first join up with us or join EXP through us, whatever you want to call it, you get essentially immediate email goes out with your coupon code to sign up and get into that training. So if you guys are looking for kind of the answer, like what we recommend to either getting started or refreshing or recharging your real estate career, look no further. That is it. That's where we tell everybody to start, because there is no better training program to get just accelerate or get hit the ground running than 36 to Life. So, Greg, let's see. Speaking of 36 to Life, I'd like to put an orange bow upon this episode. I don't know what I did last time. I feel like I might have gone orange recently here, but
you did blue.
You can't think of Hank without thinking of orange.
No, you can't. Little Caesars.
Yeah, exactly.
Pizza. But yeah, it is pretty cool stuff. And Paul Franklin, pour a drink before you get on the call. Are you saying I'm a bore, buddy? I'm assuming that is
No, Paul's going through 36 to Life.
So pour a cocktail before you get on the phone. I'm like,
juice?
What does that mean? I'm like, am I that rough to talk to? Or it's so much fun, it's a party. I'm going to go with the latter on that.
Exactly.
Okay, guys, we got an orange bow on this thing. So, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Matt and I are going to spitball and playing around, having some fun. Spread it out so everyone else can kind of see what else we are doing on this show. And thank you for you guys for watching. Hope you guys have a great, beautiful, powerful, incredible rest of your day. But until next time, peace out, ninjas. We are gone.